Mr. Mayor, we live?
Great. So today is January 18th, 2023. The time is 7:10 p.m. and I'm calling to order the Baldwin Park City Council regular meeting. Is there any, Pastor Jackson, would you mind leading us in an invocation? At this time, if you are able to, please stand. And City Clerk, if you could go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Estrada,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Is your mic on?
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Councilmember Avila,
Here.
Councilmember Ayala,
Here.
Councilmember Damian,
Here.
City Treasurer Valenzuela.
Here.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. City Attorney, is there something to report out from closed session?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Earlier today, the City Council held a special meeting to discuss the closed session items. The items are listed on the special meeting agenda. There were quite a few tonight. I will go over those each because we do have reportable action on items taken tonight and on items that were finalized over the holidays but were actually approved by the council at the December 21st meeting. So the first item that I'll report out, in the matter of Rookley versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council heard a status update on that matter from the City Special Cannabis Council. There is no reportable action, and I'll note that all members were present for that discussion. In the matter of Matthew Rodriguez versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council heard an update on that matter from Legal Counsel. We have no reportable action. I should note that all members were present except for Councilmember Ayala, who did not participate to avoid the appearance of a conflict in that matter, since she is one of the named defendants. In the matter of Cetina Huerta Jimenez et al. Versus City of Baldwin Park, City Council did not hear any update on that matter. Was not discussed. In the matter of Kuberry, Hemingway, Finley et al. Versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council wishes to announce that settlement agreements have been finalized with some of the plaintiffs in this matter. These settlement agreements were authorized at the December 21st, 2022 City Council meeting. All members voted to authorize the settlement agreements except for Councilmember Damian, who did not participate in the discussion or vote on this matter, since one of the plaintiffs is a source of income to his business and these cases were litigated globally. The settlement agreements will provide that the settling plaintiffs will, 1, dismiss their cases against the city and forever bar them from pursuing any related claims, and 2, admit that the city did not engage in any unlawful conduct related to the claims. In return, the following plaintiffs will be paid settlement payments in the following amounts. Plaintiff Kuberry, $90,480. Plaintiff Hemingway, $96,000. Plaintiff A.A. Doe, $83,698. And Plaintiff Gallegos, $83,698. In addition, in the matter of Tuan Lee versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council ratified its prior direction and approved a settlement agreement by unanimous consent vote of 4-0. Councilmember Damian did not participate in this discussion or decision, as one of the plaintiffs in this matter is a source of income to his business, and this case was litigated globally. The settlement agreement provides that the plaintiff Lee will dismiss his case against the city and forever forego pursuing any related claims and admit that the city did not engage in any unlawful conduct related to the claim. In return, plaintiff Lee will be paid a settlement amount of $120,000. I should add that the original request from these claimants when the case was filed was somewhere in the neighborhood of between $2 to $3 million. We also had an item regarding real estate negotiations concerning the property listed on the agenda. There was no discussion held on this item. All members were present and will not be carried over to any future agendas, at least at this point. That concludes our report.
Thank you for that, City Attorney. At this moment, I will move to adjourn the special meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any objections? Not, the special meeting is now adjourned, and we continue our regular meeting, and there are some announcements. So the City Council are also members of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently convening in the City Council this evening, and each council member is paid an additional stipend of $30 for attending the Housing Authority meeting and $50 for attending the Finance Authority meeting. We move on to our proclamations, commendations, and presentations, and we do have a presentation, a grant presentation regarding affordable housing and sustainable communities program, presented by Ron Garcia, our Director of Community Development, and Cesar Toledo from the Cesar Chavez Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council and members of the public. Happy to welcome back Cesar Chavez Foundation. Steve Hernandez, along with Kevin Roden, who's joining us via Zoom, will be presenting a presentation on a grant opportunity with the city.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff. Thank you for taking this presentation today. Today we're asking for support and in partnership for applying for the Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities funding, which is administered through the cap and trade funds. And I'll go into that pretty soon, but next slide, please. I just want to give a recap on the development that we're going to really focus these funds on, and it's called the Baldwin Park Affordable Housing. It's right down the street here. It's supposed to be a 51-unit affordable housing development, which is 3 to 4 stories high with 1 level of subterranean parking. And you have a mixture of 1, 2s, 3s, and 4 bedrooms in this development. And here's a rendering of it, just to remind the council and the mayor and the staff of the development that we have. We came represented a few times about the project, and we incorporated all the comments. But just a recap of this is going to be the nexus and the catalyst that's going to stem the grant and funding that we're going to move forward with. Next slide, please. The question is, what is affordable housing and sustainable communities? As you can see, the goal is to build healthier and reduce greenhouse gas emissions through the production of sustainable methods of the development, but also through transit and pedestrian, either bikes and walkways. I know a part of the specific plan that was approved, you guys, the planning department and in coordination and working with the council, implemented a lot of measures, expect to urban greening and stuff as you particularly went through. So the overall is to really reduce the impacts of greenhouse gases, to reduce the residents of the city of Baldwin Park, reduce their use of vehicles so they could take public transportation or bikeways to take their part in reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. And this is a coordinated effort between the Strategic Health Growth Council and the Housing Development. It's administered by the California Strategic Growth Council and administered by the Housing and Community Development. Will implement the transportation, housing, and infrastructure components of this program. And the main goal is to reduce air pollution, improving conditions of disadvantaged communities, support or improve public health, improve connectivity and accessibility to jobs, housing, and services, increase options for mobility, including active transportation programs, increase transit ridership, preserving and developing affordable housing, and protecting agricultural lands to support infill development. And why this project sits very well is because we have the Metrolink station, which is down the street here, where we could really connect that connectivity and have kind of the spider webs spoke out with riders through bike lanes and pedestrian walkways to the Metrolink, and in turn reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Next slide, please. So what this is fund. As you can see there, it funds a array of things that it could provide. The main thing is it provides a maximum of $50 million for the development, which housing is one component of it, but then also provides pedestrian and transit related programs for the city as that value add to not only housing, but it's that value add that helps city either improve sidewalks, provide bicycle lanes, bus shelters, or increase increase ridership of your Metrolink station or improve the station itself. So it provides, a minimum request is $10 million, but there's usually a percentage. So majority will go to housing, but the second component will go to the value added components of the program itself. So about $10 million or $50 million, depending on what the scope of work is. And that's where that partnership comes into play, working with Ron and yourselves in working, in going through the development of saying, we want to do new bike lanes, we need to do new sidewalk infrastructure, the transportation, the Metrolink hub, increasing that, making that, renewing it, redoing it, providing better access to that transportation or the Metrolink site. It's all that can be in your project scope for the housing related or for the transportation related component of this grant. So it goes hand in hand with housing, both together. So it's not just one grant. There's one big overall grant, but in partnership together, we're doing housing, and the city would be the other partner to do the infrastructure related component of the transportation component. Next slide. So these are the different responsibilities that we're going to have to take on to do this development and to apply for this funding. Where there's going to be a STI and RTA, and STI is the pedestrian bike infrastructure, and TRA is transit related improvements. So that is going to really project the scope of what's going to be needed. So that's what we're going to go through with our consultant, and which is 1 mile radius from the housing site, because that's going to be the main component. So a mile outside, we could connect the different scopes of work or whatever been approved through planning documents. And that's the hardest component, is connecting that to what you guys already approved, but you've already had the specific plan and your housing element that's kind of already you guys have been working on, to connect all those pieces together to make it all a transportation friendly environment overall in the scope. So it's kind of comparing both hand to hand. So it's 1 mile radius from our development site. And then that's where you have because you already did your community engagement and the planning documents, which is really important. Next slide. The second component is completing we will complete the workbook, but we'll ask the city to come and provide a resolution in supporting the plan that we both worked together on with staff support of what that scope of the project-related, transit-related projects and scope is. So that's kind of where we'll come in to see, because HCD and the sustainable communities are going to come in and look at to say, okay, are we going to adhere to what we promised. So that's why they would want a resolution to say, are we going to build those bike paths? Are we going to, improve the MetroLink stop? Are we going to do urban greening? And just, so they need that validation to make sure it is truly a partnership, not just the foundation applying and making promises that really that we can impose on the city. So that's why it's together, a partnership, working with the staff and yourself. Next slide. This is the scoring component. This is like the minimum scoring to get our points, because again, we're competing with all of Southern California for this funding. So there's 3 regions: Northern California, Southern California, and then the Central Valley rural component. They all apply for the same type of for the funding. And the main thing is 1 mile of an upgraded sensitive bikeway paths, and then also a linkage to another existing network or making a new network of bike paths to where we want to connect to, which I'm assuming will be the MetroLink component, because that's your biggest ridership of that, or maybe a bus hub of that nature. And then it's also to create a span of 2,000 continuous feet of accessible walkways and bike walkways and sidewalks. And then also we could also help provide, either if you have a trolley, to provide new trolleys for the community, or a bus to help the transit oriented bus to do from gas to electric, or hydrogen if they pursue to go that route as well. So these are the different funding sources, so which components that you could add into the project. Next slide. And just for further discussion, maybe when you're talking with the staff, that's the 1 mile radius. So that circle depicts the 1 mile radius from the project site on how we could connect different elements of sidewalk, bike, and bus into the main component of the MetroLink stop, or vice versa, or whatever the city has ventured. So as you can see, it's really connecting everyone to come into downtown, where the jobs are, where housing is, where retail components, so they're not using their vehicles. They could use those other means of transportation. Next slide. So what does success look like? So success is a city where residents and residents can get everywhere they need to go without having to drive. The results is in the cleaner air, healthier lifestyles, and protects current and future generations from the threat of climate change. While this program is not a one-stop shop to fix everything, it's one little piece, and our value for the next generation to build on that as we start becoming more conscious awareness of climate change and the effects of that. I do have our consultant, Kevin Roden from Community Development Resource Group, on the line to answer any questions or clarifications that you may have. Kevin, did you want to say something?
Kevin is not joining the meeting tonight.
Okay, so he's not here, so I'll be here to do it if you have any questions. Thank you.
Well, definitely, I think it's really neat, and I think the timing is just right. So over the last month, I've been working with our staff and working really hard to try to get figure out how we can upgrade our MetroLink and make it a part of our downtown, and make sure that it activate it and make sure that it creates synergy with our downtown. We're building the Zócalo, and we keep talking about how we get people to stop here. It seems we haven't focused on the MetroLink enough. So we just met with Darren Kettle, MetroLink CEO, and we're on path to meeting with Metro MTA CEO the next couple of weeks. So, it sounds like we have a perfect opportunity here to create synergy with the city, and of course with the Cesar Chavez Foundation. So I definitely want to, stay in the loop and figure out how we can keep working together to make that happen.
I look forward to it. The application is due at the end of March, so there's going to be a lot of work, a lot of stuff that staff's going to have to go through, and ourselves and our consultant, who's been really experts in how to, they're not just doing it to apply, they're going to do to win, on how we, finding strategic ways for us to win and to put us at an advantage compared to all the other cities in Southern California.
Any questions from staff?
Just a comment, whether you have already figured out the complete and full scope of potential opportunities, but since the grant is intended to encourage walking, right? And I know we have two educators on our city council, but kids walking to school is a beautiful scene, right? We want that to be a safe passageway. You think providing safe walking pathways could be one of the items that could be eligible for this grant in the way of, say, crossing guards, for example, to encourage kids and their families to walk to school. Is that possible?
We could include that as part of the scope, that we won't get points for it, but it's part of, the safe streets component. So say we have, hey, we make this a bike lane or a bike churro or something of that, and then we do the safe streets component on top of that. We get points for the bike, but we could add this onto the project scope. So the answer was yes, we could connect to the schools and the parks and stuff like that, that we could have that as part of the main scope. But as long as we tie it to something that is points eligible, we could
I
layer
see.
it. So we could layer all that together to get points, but also do the additional need that, we want to connect to schools, the safe streets where the streets light up as they're crossing intersections and stuff like that. We could do that.
Okay, if you could.
Yes.
In that 1 mile radius, is central, or is that within the 1 mile radius? I don't know. That would be the,
I'm not sure.
no?
Can you go back 2 slides from the PowerPoint, I think? What?
Hard to read it. Oh, that's perfect. And that's where the lights would come in, the crosswalks.
And we can make the bike lane extend to that. So if kids want to ride their bike or walkways, it's the same. It could be jointly a walkway and a bike path or churro, which is like you share the lane. If we won't be on the main street, we'd rather kind of take it on the off street so they could use their bikes together. Or we just do a whole bike lane, a dedicated bike lane, like
That would
I
just
think
be
you have here too as well.
improving the whole walking area to and from school, correct?
Yes. If there's any gaps, because I know there's a sidewalk and there's no sidewalk, we could complete all the sidewalks to make it a complete walking path and put some greening as well.
With landscapes, and that's a conversation I was just having with Anthony, correct, Anthony, today. We were talking about it. I had that conversation with Sam, so that would work perfectly to start working with those schools that are closer to this particular area.
As long as it's tied to the planning document, I think I attended some of the charrettes with, I think Kaiser, his group, and when back about 2 years ago or a year ago, and it did incorporate the greening component. So as long as it's tied to a planning document that we could reference, it kind of tells a story where we had community engagement, we have an approved plan that's approved by council. Now we're going to implement that plan through this program. It all tells a story. So when you get to the state, when they look at it, it's okay, they did the outreach, they did some planning workshops, we approved a plan, now we're implementing the plan. So we're supposed to be the implementing component of the work that you've done like 2 or 3 years ago and putting that together. So we could,
think so if we could include our public works department to be part of that planning, because again, I'd had that conversation with Anthony, and so they can be part of that conversation in improving all the areas around the schools. And in this particular conversation, the radius, the 1 mile radius, which would be part of your project.
yes, it does include our partner, our consultant will combine planning, transit, public works is very vital, and all,
Right.
it's all encompassing all the stuff that, all one big partnership together, and we all kind of hold hands and he walks us through it. They're more experts than I am, that's why I thought he was gonna be on, but if not, but he's really good. He's probably awarded 75 of the state's funding for funding on this project. So he really knows how to make sure we tailor it and we make it the right way.
Beautiful, that sounds great, thank you.
And so your 1 mile radius also encompasses all of our downtown specific plan.
Yes,
It's also meant to make downtown more walkable. So does that add to your grant?
that's what we're looking for, that downtown specific plan. I was like, well, this is awesome, because then we could tie all the green features, sustainability features, walkway, urban greening, bus stops, and even like the open airways of restaurants and stuff like that. That all ties into an approved plan that we could build on that foundation to make our project scope for the project and the application for funding.
Nice. Okay.
Great. Exciting.
Is there any more questions or comments from staff or council?
Yes, Mayor, if I will. So as Steve mentioned, we're going to get to work, and we're going to report back as we're developing the scope of work. So we're going to come back to the council so we can report back in preparation for submittal of that grant. So we're really excited about this endeavor and this partnership again with Cesar Chavez. Thank
And
you.
it's that grant, that you have to do it by the end of March. It's going to come around really quick.
Right, so what we'll have, I think if you have comments, you could provide comments to Ron and ourselves to like what you want to, you envision, so we could put it in the scope. And then eventually we're going to come back to a resolution saying that we're going to do A, B, C, and D and
Perfect.
stuff like that. And we'll go through
Exciting.
that. So
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you and look forward to working with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Great, thank you for that. So at this moment, we will move to public communication. City Clerk, is there anybody looking to speak?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I received one public comment speaker card. So Catherine Lozier.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council and community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. The Baldwin Park Library has a couple of upcoming events. One will take place this Friday, January 20th. It's a vaccination clinic. LA County Library is partnering with the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health to provide free flu vaccinations, COVID-19 vaccinations, and updated bivalent boosters, which protect against both forms of the newer forms of the Omicron variants. Anybody over the age of 6 may come in and get a free vaccination. Parents must be there present for anybody under 15. And you can skip the line by signing up at myturncalifornia.gov, but you're also welcome to show up. We are happy to take walk-ins. And then for those who've made under $56,000 in 2022, the Baldwin Park Library will be partnering with VITA for free income tax preparation, and that will be on Saturday, February 4th. It's from 12 to 5 p.m. It'll be first come, first serve, and more information will follow shortly. But for those who are filing jointly as a married couple, both parties will need to be there. But more information will come on our website soon. And then for our virtual programming, this Saturday on January 21st, we'll have a program teaching basic skills of mending clothes. If you had a snag in your favorite shirt, this is now the opportunity to pull it out. On Saturday at 10:30 to 11:30, we'll have the mending program. And while supplies last, Baldwin Park Library has free sewing mending kits, a little small one that you could keep in your pocket or purse. You're welcome to stop by, pick one up in preparation for the program at 10:30. Thank you all so much for all that you do. Have a wonderful evening.
Mr. Mayor, we received one email from Bob Cruz. I'm not sure if Bob is in the room. If not, I will dial.
Hello.
Hi, is this Bob Cruz?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Chris Sines calling from the city of Baldwin Park. I have you on speaker, so you have 3 minutes and you're free to speak.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bob Cruz from the Southern California Gas Company. I just want to take a few moments. Obviously, everybody's aware that we had unprecedented cold weather across the nation. Caused natural gas prices in the West go up to basically double between January and December, to the tune of about 128% since December. Anticipate that this will change once we get a milder weather, and we're hoping for that. At this time, I want to give some tips, and I will be sending something to Krista Roman that she can share with the council and put on the website. Tips that residents can prepare for higher than average energy bills this winter by taking a few steps. And some of those are lowering your thermostat 3 to 5 degrees. If health permits, they can save up to 10% on heating costs. Install proper caulking and weather stripping and save roughly 10 to 15% on heating and cooling bills. Wash clothes in cold water. I know we're not used to that. That'll save up to 10% on water heating costs. Consider turning down the temperature on your water heater. Limit the use of non-essential natural gas appliances such as spas, pool heaters, and fireplaces. Sign up for bill tracker alerts to monitor natural gas consumption. You can go on our website, visit www.socalgas.com, my account, and you will get text messages and emails and include a bill to date and projected amounts in your next bill. To help everyone manage your energy bills as easily as possible. We also have a website, socalgas.com/assistance, where we place several low-income qualified programs for low-income families that can provide a monthly bill discount, help with energy efficiency, award a one-time grant if eligible, or help those with medical conditions. So, and for residents who may not have internet access, they can call 1-800-427-2200 to sign up for these various programs. A couple additional things I'd like to mention to the council and to anybody who's listening. But SoCal Gas does not set the price for the commodity of natural gas. Natural gas prices are determined by national and regional markets. SoCal Gas buys natural gas in those markets on behalf of residential and small business customers, and the cost of buying that gas is billed to these customers with no markup. I want to repeat that, with no markup, meaning SoCal Gas does not profit from the movement of gas commodity prices. And again, I've given you some tips and things that residents can do to help save, lower their gas prices, gas bills during the next few months. That's all I had to share at this time. Again, I will send something that can be shared on your website and with the council members and staff. I would appreciate it, and I'll send that to Krista Roman and Sam Gutierrez. Mr. Sines, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you for your time. And if I know it's public comment, so there can be no questions. But if you have questions, I will give you my phone number, 909-731-3281, or my email is rcruz1@socalgas.com if anybody has additional questions. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you so much for your time. Bye.
Thank you.
Mayor, those are all the comments I've received.
Great, thank you. At this moment, if you'd like to speak and you didn't fill out a speaker card, now is your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Otanil Avila Jimmy from Jimmy's Bikes, owner of Jimmy's Bikes at 14334 Ramona Boulevard. I'm here to express my concern regarding the current project that you guys constructing across the street from here. So my concern is that we as a business owner are not being taken into consideration when you decide to close off the road to access the back of our building. The project is going to apparently take 8 months to complete, and we have no access to the back of my building where I receive merchandise and deliveries, and I'm unable to have access to that because of the closure of this, what's going on right now. I'm here to express my dissatisfaction in the manner in which we are not properly informed of what your project installed. Also, what will you be doing to assist us in counting our business as usually during your project construction? I'm not the only business affected by these decisions, and everyone along the block is being inconvenienced, and we need to know how we are going to be able to continue maintaining the quality of work for our customers and our residents. I would appreciate some sort of answers sooner than later. One other thing, I've noticed that lately, since there's no parking, we've been losing business because people see that there's no parking, they take off. That's one thing. My trash can, it's a block away now. So now I have to walk through the front of my shop, bring the trash from the back through the front, walk a block, throw away the trash. It's a little inconvenient, right? Another thing, once somebody told me, I'm not gonna point fingers, but we did a parking construction by the police station. You could always park there. Your customers could park there. Okay. So they're gonna carry a bike to fix and then come back, or what's the deal there, right? I don't. You know, maybe you guys can you park by 99-cent store and walk over here? I don't think so, right? So that's that's one of the least thing. But I mean, I think it's good for everyone that I need access to the back of my shop because I have merchandise coming in and out. I have personal stuff that I have to bring in and out. And there's another thing but to say that I have access. I have another partner that just joined me last year. He's hurting for some business that went wrong. And just for the access of the back of the building. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you take it in consideration. Thank you. And also if my friend here, Rene, can talk about the situation in Spanish. Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos, mi nombre es René Cepeda.
Good evening, everybody. My name is René Cepeda.
Como algunos de ustedes ya me conocen,
You already know me.
yo conozco a varios de ustedes.
I know several of you.
Estoy en asociación con Jimmy's Bikes y estoy a punto de rentar la unidad de al lado.
I'm in the association with Jimmy's Bikes, and I'm about to rent the unit next door.
Y no tengo nada en contra con la construcción que van a hacer, todo lo contrario.
I don't have anything against the construction that you're doing or you're engaging in. On the contrary,
Estoy muy contento por lo que están haciendo por la comunidad y todo, pero
I'm very happy with what you're doing with the community. However,
con que no afecten mi negocio,
as long as my business does not get affected,
creo que todos podemos llevar a la fiesta en paz.
I think we can all get along.
Y necesitamos saber si van a darnos la oportunidad de volver a tener nuestro espacio de regreso, porque creo que
I need to know if we're going to get the opportunity of recuperating or getting back our space, because
es algo injusto para mí personalmente que tengo mis negocios aquí.
it's something unfair for me personally that I have my businesses out here.
Me están bloqueando la entrada de atrás y a Quintaco. Yo soy muy amigo del manager de Quintaco.
The
y
rear
ellos-
entrance of my business is being blocked, and King Taco as well. I'm very good friends with the owner of the King Taco.
Él sí tiene la oportunidad de tener su espacio abierto.
He does have the opportunity of having that space open.
Hago una renta yo y en mi contrato tengo posibilidad de usar la puerta de enfrente y usar la puerta de atrás, y así quisiera que se mantuviera.
I pay my rent, and in the contract it says that I have access through the back and also the front door, and I would like for it to continue to be that way.
Muchas gracias, es todo.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Hello, good evening. So my name is Rodolfo Cortez. Some of you probably don't know me. The mayor knows me. We used to sit across from each other at the Green Party convention. Times have changed. So I would like to address something that I have actually not been able to get addressed in other cities, and perhaps here will be different. So I specifically, I saw that today you are paying quite a number of dollars to that city attorney from the past, the corrupt one. So it's troubling that all that money is still going over there. It's just, wow, what a slap for the community. But then there was something happening. I saw that you guys want to name, the Zócalo. You've named it. after Mrs. Rubio, the senator. And I know that certainly myself and many others are not fans of her, and that's because she's one of the many corrupt ones. Just one in this huge tapestry of corruption. So I actually commented on social media about that, and I was kind of surprised and disturbed by the response from Mr. Estrada, the mayor. So what I was pointing out was, well, why is this being named after, kind of a living person? It used to be the case that we used to name facilities after people that passed away. So this is a step in the wrong direction. And then the mayor decided to comment, well, essentially, why are you commenting in my city? Don't you have something to do in your city? Well, and then I commented, yeah, how about I have the same problems over there that you have right here? So let's talk about that. And maybe I'll get a clarification. I want to know why, if you claim that you're going in the transparency direction with your city attorney, why did you hire the Best and Krieger law firm, which put the city of Bell in all of that legal and ethical, moral, financial trouble? Why is Mr. City Attorney Marco Martinez there? Why is it that the Best and Krieger law firm gets hired by all these cities to do the dirty work, the quote cleanup work? Why is it that they're silencing the public over in Long Beach? Why is it that they're engaging in disruption of our First Amendment rights in Downey? And what are they doing here? How much are we going to find out that the Best and Krieger law firm is costing the city of Baldwin Park? It's going to be very frightening when we found out, and we will find out. So no to the corruption.
I just start? Does the time start? Oh, cool. My name is Nathaniel Soil. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I moved here 2 years ago. I really appreciate all the public events. I have my notes. I really appreciate all the public events that are put on for the community, and I try to attend whenever I can. I attended my first city council meeting last month. I'm really looking forward to learning more about the toilet and shower head exchange program. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be here for the rest of the meeting tonight, but I will be here next time. I'm here to ask if the city can look into a litter problem on Main, just below or just south of Arrow. This is on the west side of the street. Maybe some no littering signs could be put up along the sidewalk alongside the future mini park and the current VCWD water facility. Both of those are basically two lots where nobody lives, and so there's just a lot of debris that ends up there over time. Right now, there's a dead cat and a couple of shopping carts, so something to potentially look at, or happy to report to whoever else I should be saying this to, if not here. And I'm happy to send any pictures to whoever needs to see those as well. And I'm happy to follow up otherwise. That's about all I have. Thank you.
Don Rios, resident. One of the things I've noticed the past couple of days, well, past 10 days, that we opened a new ARCO station on the Pacific and Puente. Okay. I went around and saw another project, same thing, same company, on Sunset in Badillo. I stopped by and I talked to the supervisor right there, as a construction. He says, no building or ARCO cannot open up unless they have an awning on the top to protect the pumps, plus they have to have a safety turn-off valve. Right here, the one in Pacific in Puente doesn't have all that. and they're running business, they're pumping gas, which they shouldn't have the license. Okay? That's another project that Ron Garcia approved. It's like everything else that he touches turns bad. Okay? One of the things, as most of you know, I go around the city, see, and I call whoever's in charge to take care of the problems, okay? That's a big problem. Big problem because you guys, Theo, Enrique, you have to see those little things. And I want to thank the chief of police. I talked to him the last time we were here, and they took care of the problem that I had told him, okay? We had a drive-by shooting this past Friday around 11:30 in my area, right in the corner of my house. You know, the police got there and everything. The only thing they didn't do right was they need to mark down where all the, shelving of the bullets, you know. And that's one of the things we have to be looking at, you know. You know, I would hate to go to any other funeral for a police, you know. We already had too many things in the past 2 weeks with the sheriff's department. You know, I just want you guys to understand, you know, I'm here. My neighborhood is, they come and tell me, I come over here. I didn't know nothing about this gas station in Pacific. But they called me up and they told me, so look into it. We're not supposed to be operating. Okay, thank you.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. I want to make the comment on your toilet thing and shower heads. You should be seeing the water districts to supply this like we used to have back in the day and not spend $1 million, almost $1 million of the city's money to get this acquired. So I think you should check with the water districts because they supplied them before for this city. Then we're going to move into Ron Garcia again. Still haven't got a call from him on when he's going to meet with me. He seems to be very afraid to all the illegal stuff he did with Royal Coaches. You know, Royal Coaches built the auto body back in 07, and it wasn't until 017 that Ron had them come in and submit plans for that and redid the plans. They never had plans because in 07, it was still under redevelopment. We could not build, we could not do anything and extend out. But Ron passed it over and had plans remade up. And the plans are all bogus. There has no parking. They park out on the street that's illegal. It's all red stripe, both sides from the fire department. But they still continue to park out there. They put up a white tent after they pulled down all the illegal fixtures that they had up of all the awnings. Now they got a huge white tent out there. When is this going to stop? When is the buddy deals with this Ron Garcia and everybody, just like with this ARCO station that Mr. Rios did? He overrode his code enforcement officer that said he didn't want to approve it. But Ron Garcia approves it. The guy's not ready for business yet. This guy's illegal, operating with the city, and it's all buddy deals. I don't know how much he gets paid. I don't even know if this is Armand Garbey's property over there. Because if we know Armand Garbey, he's in prison right now for bribing LA city officials over there. Now then, we need to fix this. We need to get a community director that's for the city and enforces the law equally. You have Abel over here. He had to tear down all his structures, everything, right down to the bottom. But that's not what Royal Coaches do. They tear down and then they rebuild. What's it going to take, people? Do we need another lawsuit? You guys are cleaning up all the lawsuits, but I'm not afraid to sue. If that's what it's going to take, we can do it again. And the Krieger firm, if they have that other attorney that comes in there and makes comments for Ron Garcia, save your time. This guy's a waste of time. They send a new guy in there that wasn't even a year in law profession. This is a joke. Send in professional people, and these people answer to the public. And if you can't answer to the public, get another job in another city. Okay? Because I'm not putting up with this anymore. And if I don't have anything results by the end of February, I launch a lawsuit. I'm tired of talking.
Buenas noches a todos. Me llamo Abel, ya me conocen todos, creo, ¿verdad?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Abel. I believe all of you know me.
Oí unos comentarios hace rato de que affordable houses, que barata, no sé qué tanto dicen, nunca dicen el precio. Y cuando van a preguntar o aplicar, son de 700, 800 para arriba tal vez, pero tienen que decirle a la gente cuánto cuestan.
I heard some comments earlier about affordable housing or something like that, but they never say how much they're going to cost. And when people ask, they're probably going to be $700,000 or $800,000, and people won't be able to afford them.
Sí, porque la gente es pobre, no le alcanza para pagar tanto dinero, no tiene su presupuesto, no ganan mucho dinero.
People are of bigger earnings are poor, and they don't have enough, and they won't be able to afford those homes.
También lo que se vende preocupar hace 2 líneas de la Pacífica y la Main, porque hay mucho tráfico, los carros están en línea casi 1 milla de lejos, es lo que viene de preocuparte por invertir ese dinero allí en estas 2 líneas.
Another thing that should worry the city would be over at Pacific and Main to make 2 lanes. Otherwise, there's a backup of 1 mile. That's what they should worry about.
Aquí en Baldwin Park no hay mucha bicicleta, tenemos una línea que es para carros y es de bicicletas.
In Baldwin Park, there's not a lot of bicycles or bicycle riding, and we have a lane for bicycles already in Baldwin Park.
También el otro, miren que tuvimos, mencionaron que los toilets, ok, de acuerdo, pero ¿quién va a pagar, la ciudad o la compañía del agua? Tienen que pagar la compañía del agua, no la ciudad.
Last meeting also regarding the toilets, it was talked about items that were going to be given out. Who's going to pay for those, the city or the water district? It should be the water district.
Ok, también los homeless, ya estoy haciendo complaint de eso, que hacen mucho graffiti, tiran mucha basura y cuelgan la ropa en los fences del freeway, se ve muy feo.
Also, another complaint of mine is regarding homeless. There's a lot of graffiti because of them. There's a lot of trash, and then now they're hanging their clothes on the wire fence.
Si gustan, no doy un tour en la ciudad para que se den cuenta todo lo que yo veo en el puente del 10, en la puente. Ahí están metidos como 15 para adentro y no los pueden sacar. ¿Qué hacemos para sacarlos? Hay que hacer algo.
If you would like a tour, I'd be glad to take you. And right there at the 10 freeway and La Puente, there's about 15 of them there crammed in there, and they should be taken away from there, taken out from there.
No es posible que yo ande trabajando, mochando todas las ramas para que se vea y lo vean ustedes más claro, la policía, para que ellos tengan miedo, pero no tienen miedo, creo que les ayude más. Porque moché todos los árboles para que los viera la policía.
It's not fair that I'm out there pruning cutting back all the trees and branches so the police can go by there and see them, and it seems like they're not afraid to be seen or for people to be aware that they're there.
También hoy vi unos vendedores en la calle que ahora venden tacos al vapor y de atole, todo, no sé por qué no los recogen, no les prohíben que vendan.
Also today I saw vendors out on the street. I don't know, somebody selling tacos al vapor, tacos. I don't know why somebody doesn't go and pick them up and get rid of them.
Ok, espero que todo esto que yo hable se le aplique un poco más duro porque la ciudad está descomponiendo, si no la cuidamos, ok.
I hope that all this that I talked about gets enforced a little bit tighter because otherwise the city's going to go downhill.
Ok, gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Julio Ramirez. I just want to bring something about a corruption at Royal Coaches. Drunk addict, bad attitude, disrespected my wife and my son and myself. This is a corrupted guy that doesn't deserve to have the license. And if you work with him and you make deals with him, he is disrespectful. I made a complaint to AAA. He cussed me out, cussed out my wife and my son. I went over there, he smelled like alcohol. And is that the type of people you want in the city? Is that the type of people you want? Corrupted. And you give them the license. And you disrespect citizens? Would you like for me to scratch your car and do everything? You need a brand new battery? Tough luck. Get the hell out of my shop. 14 a year. Now, about the Cesar Chavez Foundation, what are you going to do? How many cars are going to park right there? You can't park. The bike lane, what are you going to do? How much is it going to cost? Pay attention. I can't go visit my cousin or nobody right there. You want me to use the car? You want me to walk? Where are they going to park at? It's a shame. In El Monte, we have the taqueros. They sell in the streets. They do whatever they want. You better start getting some ordinance right here. I thank you that you have them. But over there in El Monte, they're bad. Right now, you can see them right there selling tacos and everything. Taking away the business from shop owners. Thank you very much.
If there is nobody else looking to speak, I will now move to close public communication. We have our consent calendar. Are there any items council is looking to pull? Now, I'll make a motion to pass items number 1 through 6 in the consent calendar. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. Thank you for that, City Clerk. So at this moment, we do have a City Council acting as successor agency of the dissolved Community Development Commission, and we have a Treasurer's Report. So I'll make a motion to approve that item. Can I get a second? City Clerk, go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. And we do have the Finance Authority meeting, and I believe we have a consent calendar with a Treasurer's Report. So I will go ahead and make a motion to pass that item. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. And now we have the Housing Authority for the Housing Authority regular meeting, and I believe we have a consent calendar. And so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to pass that consent calendar. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. Thank you for that. And I believe those are all of it. So now we go down to City Council and staff communication. And seems like Mayor Pro Tem is not here. So we can go ahead and have an update from our CEO on the toilet replacement program.
Thank you, Mayor Estrada. I want to bring up 3 items, and if I can alter the order, and we'll definitely provide an update on the toilet program. But I'd like to first start with a an exciting piece of news, and I'd like to introduce to the City Council our newly hired managers. And if I can ask, I'll start out with our HR manager, Karina Reda, if you can come to the podium, Karina, to welcome you to the city officially and introduce you to the City Council. But let me just quickly read a short bio about Karina. Yeah, Karina comes to us with over 20 years of municipal government experience in human resources, risk management, administration, city clerk, and finance. Karina's professional experience includes recruitment and selection, workers' compensation, training and development, labor and employee relations, risk management, as well as other intricate areas of human resources. She's a graduate of the University of La Verne with a Bachelor's of Science in Organizational Management with a concentration in human resources. And for the past 7 years, this is actually very important for us. She's been on the board of the Southern California Professional and Human Resources Association as a communications director. Before joining us, Karina worked for the City of Rosemead, City of Vernon, City of Huntington Park for a total cumulative 20 years of experience in supporting organizational efforts to be an employer of choice. That'll be us. So welcome, Karina. And there you are. And we'll take an official picture. Thank you.
First of all, I want to start off by thanking Enrique for giving me the opportunity to serve the city of Baldwin Park as the next human resources manager. As Enrique mentioned, I come with over 20 years of experience in human resources and experience. So I'm very excited, and I look forward to serving the city of Baldwin Park. Thank you. We'll talk.
Yes, and so let me now call Fabiola Celaya Meliker. If he can join us over here at the dais. I double checked. So Fabiola is a qualified planner with over 22 years of professional experience in planning, historic preservation, equity planning, and community engagement. And very importantly, CEQA. She already brought to bear her experience in CEQA in a recent meeting this week. Thank you for that, Fabiola. Fabiola has served as a planning manager with the cities of Santa Ana, San Dimas, and West Covina. As city planner, Fabiola will be responsible for managing, planning, and organizing all of the activities of the planning division. Fabiola holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Chaminade University of Honolulu, as well as a master's of urban and regional planning from Cal Poly Pomona. She is a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. Welcome, Fabiola. Ron.
Thank you. I'm very excited to join the Baldwin Park team. I look forward to working with City Council, the executive team, staff, and as well as the community. So thank you so much.
Well, we're very excited to have you both here with us. HR, we're going to keep you busy, hopefully not for too long. And the city planner, of course, will keep you a little bit busier for longer since we have, a lot of opportunity. And I think, you see it as well, which I think is very exciting. So Ron and we took Fabiola out for a tour of the downtown and showed her what's happening and what could potentially happen. So, we're very excited to have two very qualified individuals here with us and joining the Baldwin Park team. So we hope that you are just as excited to be with us.
Okay, thank you both. And on with my updates, the toilet program. So pursuant to your direction at our last council meeting where we had brought forward a proposed contract with the Home Depot and Ecotech, who one would be the supplier of the toilets and the shower heads, the other would be the installer. You directed us to engage with the County Valley Water District as well as the other independent private water districts in the city. There's a total of 4 purveyors of water in the city, County Valley being the largest by far. Maybe I want to say 80% of the total service area, if not 85%. And so we have done exactly that. And I am happy to tell you that County Valley Water District at the staff level, meaning the general manager and the staff, are very interested in pursuing areas of collaboration. And so we have set up a discussion meeting for early next week. And whether any of the discussions result in any changes to our proposed agreements with Home Depot and Ecotech, we don't know at this point. At a very minimum, we believe that they will help us with pursuing rebates from both the Upper San Gabriel Water District as well as the Metropolitan Water District, which can be as much as $50, if not more than $50 per each unit, in this case, toilets. So that's looking very promising, and we believe that at this point, keeping the contracts and the item on continuance until we're able to report back to you, hopefully by the next council meeting, on what the preliminary outcomes of our discussions with County Valley with more definition will end up being. But we're encouraged, and they're definitely appreciative of the council asking that we check with them.
Great. Thank you for that update. And I know some people were asking why we're not asking them to join. So we did ask them at the beginning. For some reason, it wasn't the right time for them. And I know that it seems like it does make sense, right, that we have the Valley County Water District and all the other water districts involved. But, when we started this, it was more about, the city being able to do something for their residents in times when we know that costs are increasingly going up. Everything's going up. So I think some of us have seen even double bills in the gas company, and that's why we heard from Robert Cruz today. So we know that all these things are going up, and a lot of the times it's very difficult for cities to directly impact those costs of living. So doing a project like this to me is a one-of-a-kind opportunity, which is why we've been pushing for it. But yes, we definitely want to be able to partner with everybody and anybody that we're able to, and all of our and all the other neighboring jurisdictions. And I would ask that, depending on what we're able to do with them, if we could even consider, depending on the cost, right? Not for sure, but even consider doing lawn replacement. I know some residents have asked about that, and it's one of the bigger water wasters where sprinklers aren't even hitting the grass, they're hitting the street, the water runoff, and increases our water waste. And I did want to ask I don't know if anybody has any other comments or questions regarding the water issue before I move on, or before Enrique moves on. Okay. Yeah. Well, just the item. If anybody has any questions or comments on the item before we move on to the next one. Nobody? Okay. Enrique, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. One other update, oral update with regards to the activation of the joint city and school district committee, previously known as the 2+2 committee. Now, as an official name, we're going to call it the Community Collaborative Committee. In conversations with the staff over at the school district, the timing is calling for us to activate that committee. And particularly in light of the process that the school district has engaged in the determination and decision of closing schools due to low enrollment of students. They had decided to close Elwyn last year. They're in the process of determining which school to close this year. There's no finality on that as far as I know. I know they're considering as we speak, but there's likely going to be more school closures. So it behooves us to engage with the school district on the potential future uses of those sites, whether it's for something such as a sports complex, which this council is very interested in, and other potential open space, or even something like housing, which some of you have mentioned as well. So I think, the situation does present an opportunity, and it's important that we activate or reactivate this committee. So in future meetings, if not on February 1st, the one right after, we will be bringing forward a report, a staff report that will, in the context of your resolution, the council resolution in which you designate representatives among the council on all of the organizations for which there's a council representation, this committee being one of them. We will bring that as a recommendation for you to assign and designate council members to sit on this committee. Again, it's called the 2+2 in the past. Now it's going to be called and I have to always look up the name because it's a Community Collaborative Committee. Community Collaborative Committee. Okay, so that's my update on that.
Great. Is that all your items, Enrique?
Those are my items, Mayor.
Great, thank you. And I didn't put anything here, but I did want to ask that we start looking into, with Measure CB passing, I think it's really important that we get ahead and start putting in ordinances that are going to limit the type of facade and imagery that can be outside of these stores. So I want to make sure that we look into that and see what we can limit and address before Measure CB comes towards us. And I did want to ask that we also get an update on the grants on the main pocket park. I know that at this point we've received over or close to $1 million in grants. We have the TAP A, which should facilitate community input and all that. So I want to make sure we get an update on that and see where we're at with that. That's all from me. If there's any questions or comments from the council?
Mayor?
Yes, Councilman.
I just want to make a couple of comments. I want to thank our Baldwin Park librarian, Ms. Dozier. I thank you for coming. I appreciate all your updates and everything that you do for our community. I also want to see if someone can address Jimmy's concern from Jimmy's Bikes, because I know that there's other businesses along that, block or street, that are butting up the new project. So if somebody can speak with him addressing that, what can we do to alleviate his concern and his issue? I think it's valid. I've also heard it from others who are in that area. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that. Yeah, while we're there, we might as well check with everybody. I know that we did do our rounds before construction, so Bonnie.
Yeah, actually, I already passed by him twice, and he only had one concern, and which I addressed with the contractor, and I even give him my personal cell phone number, and I told him, if you have any issue anytime, please let me know. Not only that, I passed by him over the weekend. So over the weekend, I passed by all the businesses, and some of them had some issues regarding the parking at the back, like King Taco, and we addressed each one of them. We give them parking in the front parking lot, and we even try to do working with Anthony. We're gonna give them loading zones. So we had a meeting with King Taco today, last week, with the flower shop, with the coffee shop at the corner. So we addressed all of their issues, but he didn't tell me. He didn't. This is my first time to hear from him about his concern. But right after the meeting, I have his cell phone number, so I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna address that as well. You're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you. And I know you did, you guys were out there doing outreach, but maybe at the time that the plan was being presented to them, it didn't come up. They didn't think about it. So now that the project is already started, now they see the impact. So yes, I appreciate you reaching out again and to see how we can accommodate, because I do know you guys had conversations, but again, they might have not thought about it at the time. Thank you.
Yes. Good. Any other questions, comments from staff or the council? If not, I believe it's 8:25 and we are done with all of our official city business. So at this moment, I will move to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any objections? If not, city council is adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Good night.